Hello, in this video, we will identify and try to define what is a final year project. Yeah, so the context is for undergraduate students studying business degrees in Asia Pacific University of Technology and Innovation, or APU. Okay, so to define or to understand what is a project, we will look at the handbook. Yeah, we will unpack what's in the handbook, the definition, and see what is expected of us from the final year project. Okay, so let's start with this preface. Okay, the highlights are mine. Yeah, it doesn't come originally with the document. The highlights are mine. So we'll try to define. We'll try to unlock the mystery of the final year project. So basically, what is it? It is a research about a topic of interest, and you must write it down in a written report with a particular structure. Later, I'll come to the structure. And you will be allocated a supervisor who will guide you on your journey, guide and also support, I would say, in your journey, and especially help you identify a suitable research topic. Okay, so identify a suitable research topic that will contribute to your degree discipline. All right, and then over time, over 2 semesters, you will develop your research, and you will be able, at the end of that project, you will be able to present a recommendation or a solution to a particular discipline or knowledge. Okay, so this handbook will be your guide in that sense, together with the help of your supervisor and of course yourself. You will emerge on the other side a learned person. Yeah, so there's also a good reminder here. At any point, if you are in doubt, always consult your supervisor. So we know from the basic introduction is a research of a topic related to your discipline, and there will be some research skills development. All right, so now let's see. Okay, we will cover mainly the introduction that defines some aspects of the final year project. Okay, so what is project research? It's an intellectual application. So intellectual application because you have studied many modules in your first year, second year, and the project is somewhat a culmination, yeah, or a collection or a build-up of all your earlier knowledge. And you're going to find an area of interest that you will investigate. Yeah. So it's related to a particular knowledge or discipline. So what knowledge or discipline? You look at your degree type. Is your degree in business management or international business management or service management or media or marketing, etc.? So that is your discipline. Yeah, the knowledge or the discipline that you will be investigating on. So you will be investigating on a problem or on a specific issue. Okay, so later on the next page, we will talk about what the project handbook talks about what is this problem. Yeah, so you are addressing this problem or this issue with a specific objective. You want to, for example, investigate the factors, or you want to investigate the effects, you want to investigate the stakeholders, for example, etc. So it depends on your topic. Yeah. So here we're just looking at FYP or final year project in general. And at the end of that research or at the end of that inquiry or that quest, you will be able to give some kind of recommendation because you already have done data collection and also a review of that problem. Okay, so there are 2 parts of your project. Okay, one part is the investigation report. The investigation report will be submitted at the end of your semester 1. And then the second part is your final year project that will be submitted at the end of semester 2. Yeah, and you will conclude your study, your degree study with that submission as well. Sorry, part 2 is in semester 2. So what is the investigation report? An investigation report is a blueprint or a prelude, yeah, prelude to your project. Yeah, so it's telling the supervisor and the reader and the examiner, etc., that you have a basis to this research. Yeah, you have a reason, you have a support for this research that you want to carry out. And then, of course, you will carry out the research in part 2. So basically, in your investigation report, you are actually expressing your plan. Yeah, your plan of investigation, how you plan to research your problem. And in the final year project, you will actually carry out your plan and report the results of your research. Okay, so basically, what will happen is that there will be the steps. Yeah, so I will base this on the chapters, okay, of your project. So that altogether there are 5 chapters. So the IR will cover 3. Okay, so the first 3 chapters relate to the investigation report. Yeah, particularly because you are actually giving a picture about what you want to do for your project, and then 4 and 5 will come in the final year project. Yeah, so you will add on 2 additional chapters for your final year project. So you will plan with the IR investigation report, and then you will carry out the project in the FYP, yeah, the final year project. So why is it important? Because you are actually, part of the academic exercise is you are looking at a problem and you are giving a solution, or you are giving an insight into that problem that other people have not investigated, or other people have investigated little on. So you are actually giving a highlight on the matter. So how do you start? How do you find that problem? Yeah, you can find it by reading. Okay, so you can read the articles that you have you're interested in, and you can find the gap. You can actually, based on your modules, you can also identify what's your area of interest. So for example, in a particular tutorial or in a particular assignment, you have done something very insightful and you're interested in it, you want to read more, you want to do more research on it, then that can be also a source where you can find that problem, quote unquote. It can also be from you speaking to industry practitioners. Yeah. So if, let's say, you are interested in a particular human resource topic, so you speak to someone who is a practitioner in human resource and get his or her opinion whether this is worth investigating over the period of plus minus 6 to 7 months. All right. So that's another source. You can read, you can refer to your modules. You can also refer to your experience during internship. Okay, so during internship, did you observe anything interesting, or did you observe any comments or a common issue that is discussed? Yeah, and then do you want to investigate that as part of your final year project? Of course, with access and with permission from your former company. All right. So these are where you can find some problems. Okay, not to not to get into trouble, but rather what we're talking about here is the academic gap. Yeah, the academic area that that is worth investigating. So you can look at an existing problem in an organization, related to sales, related to complaints, related to management issue, etc. So that's from your observation, from your reading, or by speaking to a practitioner. Or it can be a problem that may happen in the future. Let's say, okay, it could be something related to, say, digital economy, or it's related to, say, the preference of the youth for flexible working, or it can be also, the issue related to inflation, etc. Yeah, or it can be theoretical gaps or knowledge gaps. This one mostly you will get from your reading, from your literature review. See, Yeah, mostly from the reading and literature review, because you will see, okay, for example, at the conclusion, the author might say, potential research areas are such and such, or research gaps are such and such for future researchers. So that can be your cue to take up as a potential research area. Okay, so that's where you can get that research area. And remember, it cannot be too broad, it cannot be too specific either. It can, and for undergraduate, it has to be of a reasonable size and bite for you to manage within the time that you are given. Again, because we also have that limitation of time. So discuss with your supervisor what is reasonable, what is achievable within the time that you get, that you have for the project. Okay, so the next part is, okay, these are some examples, so please read it and see. And again, if in doubt, discuss with your supervisor and narrow down your research so that it is achievable, measurable, and so on. Okay, so this is also important. It is in red for good reason, and I will also highlight it because I completely agree. Is related. Your research or your final year project must relate to your course. Okay, so for example, if your course is in business management, okay, so if you search about marketing, for example, or if you research about, for example, customer satisfaction, yeah, or maybe technology, yeah. So, let's say the use of AI for decision making, yeah. If it's too far off, yeah, you'll find trouble because you may not have the knowledge to carry on. But if let's say it is related, okay, let's say you want to do AI, okay, let's say AI for management decision making. Okay, so speak to your supervisor on whether this is achievable and how much of the scope do you want to handle. Yeah, because AI is emerging, and it is a big area. So probably you want to just narrow down a little bit and connect to business management. So if you're doing human resource and you want to do, for example, again, marketing seems to be the favorite, actually. That's my observation, at least. Business management students want to do marketing, e-commerce students want to do marketing. um HR students, they tend to be more focused on HR matters, yeah, HR, personnel management, etc. So even if, again, even if you want to do technology based, you can also look at, say, analytics. Yeah, so let's say HR analytics, which is also good. Yeah, if you want to mix technology and your discipline. So as again, speak to your supervisor. I think I've mentioned that at least 3 times. Speak to your supervisor to consider the relevance and whether it can be achieved within the time that you have given. So I'm sure all our topics are interesting. All our problems or issues or challenges that we want to investigate are interesting. So we respect that completely. Um, and justify it. Yeah, justify it. How does it contribute to your degree, and how does the subject, yeah, that you have learned contribute to this project? Yeah, contribute to this final year work or research work, so that it's valuable and it is achievable and it is not too stressful for you. Yeah, trying to get, maybe, if let's say you're trying to get very, what we call groundbreaking or very rare knowledge, it might be quite a challenge. But at the same time, you also don't want something so common that everybody has done it at least 5, 10, 20 times. Yeah. So again, it's a balance. Speak to your supervisor, discuss, and see what is the achievable range that we can achieve for the final year project. Okay, so next. Okay, so the next I will just cover, I will go direct to this page, which is the document that you have to submit. Yeah. So these are the documents, investigation report, and also the final year project. So here, this is where you have the details that you can go through. Yeah, so the number of words, etc. So the things that you wonder about is all here. And of course, your supervisor can help, but please read through, because some of the questions that we ask our supervisors is already here. Number of words, maximum, what is the chapter, what are the chapters that we need to include, what do we have, what's inside, do we do this or that. So it's all here. So try to see, and then you can also sit down with your supervisor, yeah, and see, okay, can you do this for this chapter, and so on. Yeah, the details can be discussed further, but this is the basic outline. And I want to also bring you to the appendix that gives that picture. Yeah, so appendix 3 especially, okay, 3 and 4, that covers the content. So again, this one you don't need to ask your supervisor what do I include in chapter, what are the sub chapters. Just follow this. Yeah. And if let's say you have additional subchapters, you're not sure, then ask. Yeah. If you have maybe 1.1, 1.10, yeah, instead of 1.9, you have more. So maybe discuss with your supervisor, is it necessary or can it be combined with any existing chapters, etc. And then same with, okay, this is for the investigation report, and this is for the final year project. So you have the chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and what needs to be included in these chapters. All right, so based on this, you should be able to get a picture of what is needed, yeah, for your project. So basically, okay, to summarize, what is a project? Yeah, so a project is that investigation into your discipline, okay, an inquiry into your discipline connected to your degree or discipline that you have selected, either business management or international business or marketing or human resource or tourism or service management, etc. Okay, so what's the content? Yeah, so the specific content. So in your chapters, you are first going to identify what is the problem. Okay, so your introduction or your problem statement to say that there's a gap in this area and I want to investigate because this part has not been discussed in the prior research. So how do you know about prior research? You conduct a literature review. Yeah, this is done in chapter 2. Literature review is you look at other people's work. Yeah. So I'll just put there OPW, other people's work. You validate. So you have a problem here that you have identified earlier. And here also there must be some reading to support the problem. And then based on that, you look at other people's work, you expand on the variables of the issue, yeah, or the materials related to the problem or the past research related to the problem. And after that, you plan your research. Yeah, this is your methodology. So you have seen the Cooper and Schindler research onion, for example, the levels of research and the steps of research. So this is your steps of research, how you will try to prove the insight into your problem using a research plan. Okay, so number 4 is when you carry out your research. Yeah, so this is primary data collection. So from the plan, you collect your data, and then remember your data must relate to your objective, yeah, and of course your literature review. Okay, you validate and you ask the questions based on other people's research as well as connected to your problem. And then once you have carried out the data, you will give your results and your results, yeah, the results of that data collection. So let's say you interviewed 5 managers and the 5 managers have given feedback on, say, leadership style. When the organization transitioned from working from home to working, sorry, from working at the office first, and then during the pandemic, working from home, and now hybrid working, for example, right? So you report that, or you conducted a survey with 300 employees on how they were affected by hybrid work, for example. So, or for example, it could be also another survey with, say, 100 executives in the automotive industry related to manufacturing supply chain, for example. So again, it depends on your topic, yeah. So I'm just giving general examples. So once you have done that, you have collected your primary data. So you're going to now provide your conclusion. So in your conclusion, you are going to compare your primary data with others, yeah. So here, for this part, you are actually making a comparison between your primary data and also other people's work. Okay, so you are making this comparison. Okay, so you're making this comparison between your findings and others. Is it consistent? Is it different? And if it's different, why is it different? Is it because your region is different, or is it now more recent compared to maybe research that was done perhaps 5 years ago or 10 years ago? So you're making the comparison, and you're also deriving your conclusion. And based on your topic, you're going to also make a recommendation. So my apologies, just hang on for a minute. Okay, so you're making a conclusion. So here you will conclude your research. Yeah, so and then you highlight all the areas. Okay, I'll go back here. Right, so in chapter 5, okay, so you'll discuss the findings, implications, conclusion, giving your recommendation, etc. Okay, so conclude. If you want to recommend any further research, an area that you found while you're doing your research that other people could pick up on, or the gaps, etc. So that's your range of a final year project. So basically, what is a final project is that inquiry, yeah, and then it relates to your degree. It gives a contribution, yeah, because you have collected data, you have compared with other people's work, and based on that, you can form an opinion, what we call an educated opinion about the issue that you have selected for your project. Okay, so that's all, and hopefully with this video, we have defined properly, or at least try to define the final year project, and also please be guided by your project handbook as well as by discussions with your supervisor. Thank you very much.